Let me start with a Rolex that doesn't really look like a Rolex. It is, of course, not an unknown watch, but it is the 8171 reference from the early 50s. 8171 is pretty much as atypical a Rolex can possibly be. It's not an oyster case. It has a snap-on back and a very thin, non-screw winding crown. It doesn't have anything that revolves on the bezel, so it's not a sports watch, it's not a tool watch. Instead, it's a self-winding, triple calendar wristwatch with moon phases. And Rolex tried, in my view in the early 50s to break into this market. Not with much success, I shall say, because until the recent reintroduction of the Cellini line, there hasn't been anything similar for half a century on the market. It is an in-house caliber, designed, developed, made by Rolex, but everything else looks more like a dress watch. What's remarkable is that it's 38 millimeters. 38 millimeters in the early 50s is quite unheard of. The case. It's pretty much a no-nonsense design. There's nothing baroque or particularly extraordinary romantic about it. It's though very masculine, very nice proportions, bold but very smooth and elegant lugs with a three-piece case. The case back that is still featuring the original satin finish shows the Rolex coronet and the 6-digit serial number on the back. Two elements that the connoisseur immediately looks at when picking up an 8171 because it reveals how much polishing a watch possibly had throughout its life. The dial, that is a grain finish, in French grainé finished dial, is in unrestored, all original condition. But let me tell you something. The longer you look at it and the more you study it, the more you realize that this version here has a degree of warmth and personality that cannot leave anyone unattracted by this color combination. It gives the watch just that extra spice, that extra depth that makes it stand out amongst the 8171 production. This reference was made only for a handful of years in the early 50s in three case materials: stainless steel, yellow gold, and pink gold. And this example here, in my personal opinion, but definitely supported by the team of specialists here at Philips, this example here is totally unpolished. It is one, in my view, of the 5 best preserved and most original examples that we have seen on the market in decades. It comes from a long-term private collection, and I'm absolutely delighted to have this most charismatic, all original, unrestored Rolex that you can wear, and across the room nobody will point at you saying, "Ah, another Rolex wearer."